to get so close to you. Cherish the sunshine, leave everything behind, and run away so far together. A lot of pain in those eyes. Please don't lose your light. Shine, shine your light. Yeah, this world was made for you. So do what you have to do. I wanna see you shine, shine your light. Yeah, this world was made for you. So do what you have to do. Yes, it's been a long time. I know. But patience will be kind. 'Cause God is on your side. Marvelous, marvelous child. No anger. It's like a thorn that's stuck inside. But you will heal in time. Shine. Shine your light, yeah. This world was made for you. So do what you have to do. I wanna see you shine, shine your light, yeah. This world was made for you. So do what you have to do. Shine your light, yeah. This world was made for you. So do what you have to do. Shine, shine your light, yeah. This world was made for you. So do what you have to do.
The next wave of innovation isn't coming from Silicon Valley. The Central Coast is home to world-class talent and emerging industries without the noise. Central Coast Ventures has deployed $2 million across 11 regional startups, with over 90% still operating. Now, Fund 2 is open, targeting a $5 million fund, and actively seeking investors and startups. Meet the team at AngelCon tonight.
Growth doesn't happen by itself. It takes vision, commitment, and the right financial partner. Columbia Bank brings more resources and more reach, so you can transform your workspace, expand your business, or make room for your growing family. With Columbia Bank, every step forward comes with more behind it, so you can grow what matters.
Jamie Pierce, and this is the Caffeinated Cat Cafe. We take in adoptable cats from local rescues, and then we allow our community to come in and visit with those cats, and if they fall in love, they can adopt. We have had 33 cats adopted at this point. We've been open just over 2 months now, and 33 adoptions. The Small Business Development Center was so helpful in just helping me put together all my thoughts in my mind and actually make it a reality. The main thing was creating a business plan. I had never done that on my own, and they provided the software, the tools of how to do that, and it was so incredibly helpful. It made a huge difference in so many parts of opening this business. I just don't know how I would have done this without that resource. And when I started planning, I didn't even know it existed, but someone else directed me to the SBDC, and I found, the local one, and it changed everything for me. It made it possible. The fact that it's offered and there's no charge for it, it means so much. So I would 100% recommend it and will.
My name is Carlo Rigero. I'm a software engineer and I work for Silerian.
My name is Kagan Sevencan and I work for Silerian as a software engineer.
We are a cybersecurity startup. We specialize in security, cloud management, compliance, and IT management. We discovered the Hot House. We were in a process of looking for an office space in SLO to slowly grow our engineering team here.
When I come here, I saw a lot of people working. The place is more office friendly, and I used to work at home. That shift has been really great, coming to the office and working together, and then I kind of separating both.
What I enjoy most about working here at the Hot House is just the overall environment and being able to work next to so many other people. I come in here 5 days a week, and it's really nice to be able to have this place where I can come in, be productive, and focus my work, and be surrounded by others who are doing the same thing. I work for a pretty early age startup, and there's a lot of other people either working on startups or in the similar tech space as well, and so it's been great to be able to interact with them every day and meet them firsthand.
There's a lot of events happening, whether they're networking, they're workshops, in any part of we could be working in fashion, tech. I see a lot of different events here so far. There's an incubator for students to work in as well.
Another great thing about the Hot House is that it is closely connected with Cal Poly. We have been heavily recruiting from Cal Poly for the past few years, and so it's been great to be able to stay connected to the university, both spatially as well as through the business development program.
I recommend Hot House to people or professionals or business owners who want to be motivated and be successful in their work. Hello?
Got ideas for a business? Pitch them on stage at the elevator pitch competition to win over $1,000? I can do that.
What if you could communicate with your furry friends? Well, now you can. Introducing Pet Pal Communicator. Finally, the first device that lets you talk to your pets. No more guessing games. Imagine this, you're sitting on the couch and your dog starts barking like there's no tomorrow. Usually, you're left wondering, does he want to go outside? Is he hungry? Or is he just mad about the squirrel he saw 3 hours ago? With Pet Pal, you don't have to wonder anymore. Simply
My name is Bill Burns. I'm the CEO and founder of Enteen. Enteen helps food manufacturing companies upcycle the waste products that come out of their facilities. We install insect farming technology on site to consume these waste products and turn it into insect protein, which is perfect for chickens, fish, pets, and pigs, as well as a fertilizer byproduct that goes right back onto the fields where these crops came from. Since joining the incubator program, it has helped our business develop in getting the customers on board that we need, not only for the waste management aspect of our company, but also for the products that we sell, the protein and the fertilizer. The incubator program has been really helpful in helping us make those connections, building a pitch so people understand our story and our journey and the value that we create for agriculture on the Central Coast, California.
I'm Adam Sager, the founder and CEO of Trick Robotics. Our startup's helping farmers control pest and disease using ultraviolet light in place of chemical pesticides. We got involved with the incubator program because 90% of strawberries are grown here in California. And we started on the East Coast where all that research was happening. And we came out here and found out that there was this amazing program where companies like ours can get started. It can be a lonely journey being an entrepreneur, and being part of the incubator gives you not only access to resources, mentors, lots of kind of classes that help teach you how to take the next steps in your startup, but also it's just a great forum for communicating with other founders like us. I'd say anyone who's going on this journey to start a company like we've been doing, I'd say it's really important to do something you're really passionate about. You have to do something you love because you're going to be doing it for a long time. Also, I'd say the first step is taking the first step. You really have to get out there, talk to other startups. The incubator is a great place to get in and just talk to other people who are trying to do the same thing. Just get out and get started. That's really the first step, is the most important one.
Hi, we're the co-founders of Greenside Technologies. We won AngelCon last year, and we're building an AI software platform to help electronics recyclers and refurbishers sort and value used electronic devices and ensure that every device that they see is routed down the most profitable path.
In the year since winning AngelCon, we've launched internationally. We now have 3 paying customers, and we've processed thousands of devices. Additionally, we've been able to secure funding that is helping us with our plans for expansion.
Over the next few months, we'll be launching with additional customers and working with other major software providers in the industry to establish more of our brand presence.
We're super excited to watch the pitches tonight.
Good luck.
Good evening. Come on in. Let's take a seat. Come and join us. All right, everybody. As you're settling in, welcome to AngelCon 2026. We are so excited to have you all here with us tonight, and this is going to be a great event. Not only do we have a live audience, but we also have many people joining us over the internet on YouTube Live. My name is Danica Forencich. I am the director of AngelCon for the Cal Poly Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship and Small Business Development Center. This is our ninth annual AngelCon. Before we jump in and get to the fun stuff, we're excited to share some updates with you. And I would like you all to give a warm welcome, in case you haven't met him yet, our new Executive Director of the Cal Poly CIE, Peter Falzon.
Welcome, everyone. This is my first cycle, but I hear this is the most exciting event of the year, so I'm really excited to be here. Thank you, Danica, for putting this together and with your team and doing such a great job. As you said, we have record turnout, which is a good thing. It can also be a challenging thing, so hope everybody can find a seat. I was asked to say a few words about the CIE, which is the organization within which the SBDC lives that puts this event together. So I'm fairly new to town, but I'm not new to university technology, commercialization, and startup incubators. And what I learned when I came to Cal Poly, the first thing I was amazed at was the high quality of the student startups that were coming out of the university. And then I learned about the CIE, and then I met the founders of the CIE, one of which is here, John York, tonight. And I said, John, what makes this so special? And he said, Peter, one thing. From the very beginning, it was conceived as an interdisciplinary center, which means, if you look at one of our signature events, today was the 29th year that last week was the 29th year that we held Innovation Quest. We had 65 student teams from freshmen to seniors applying to pitch their ideas. In the 12 finalists, we had students from every college represented, but more importantly, because they're in CIE programs, students from different colleges are mingling and meeting each other and forming early into interdisciplinary groups. So if you've got a couple of engineers who have a great idea, that start working early with someone from marketing, and then a business person tacks onto that group, and they're sophomores, the result is going to be great. And that's the magic of the CIE. And then you layer on top of that the fact that the mission of the CIE is also community focused. So we can take everything that we do for tech companies coming out of the university, and we can help tech entrepreneurs in the community get their businesses off the ground or get them growing. But it's not just tech businesses. Of the 450 companies that the SBDC advised last year, the vast majority are Main Street businesses. So it really is a university and community partnership. And the SBDC is the organization has put and continues to put AngelCon together. So Danica is going to give you all the details of what AngelCon is.
Thank you, Peter. And we have some seats up here. Don't be afraid to come up. We have plenty more seats, so please come and join us. So the purpose of AngelCon is threefold. First, we train new investors. Then we create access to capital by creating a small angel fund. And then third, we plan and create this event to showcase the most brilliant up-and-coming startups in our region. Every September, we start inviting accredited investors to join us for AngelCon. Some of whom have never been part of an angel group or invested in a private company before. So throughout the program, we train them over 8 long months in how to invest in a startup, learning from everything from due diligence, reviewing pitches, negotiating deal terms, and the like. We bring experts and speakers in on a monthly basis to provide these workshops. And tonight, these investors will pick the winner of AngelCon 2026. Now, startups applied and their applications were due in January. Our investors chose 12 to move on to the semifinals. These 12 were put through a grueling pitch prep boot camp for about 6 weeks. After that, they pitched to our investor panel, who went on to pick our 6 finalists, who you will see pitch live here tonight. Now, over the last 8 years, we're very proud to say that the AngelCon outcomes have surpassed our wildest dreams, not only for the startups, but also for our investors, many of whom participate in AngelCon for many years, or go on to join venture funds similar to Central Coast Ventures, who is one of our sponsors tonight. We'd like to thank all of our investors here for their support tonight, and also mention our past finalists. In the last 8 years, our AngelCon finalists as a collective group have raised over $80 million in capital once they've left the AngelCon stage. That's a powerful testament to the caliber of startups we have participating in this program. Yes, please. And you're going to see this year's cohort is no exception. This year we have, in Fund 9, we have 16 investors. Can you please stand up? Please give them a big round of applause. They have done so much hard work. Especially over the last couple of months, they've participated in constant due diligence meetings to really look under the hood, kick the tires on these 6 finalists to understand how their money is going to be used and best spent in order to determine tonight's winner. So, we could not have AngelCon without our sponsors. And I would first like to thank our presenting sponsor, Columbia Bank. Later, you'll hear from Brooks Wise from Brooks to help us pass out the awards and say a few years. But Columbia, formerly Pacific Premier, has been with AngelCon since the beginning. And so we couldn't accomplish AngelCon and events like this without our sponsors, which we'll acknowledge tonight. Now, Peter, back to you.
Great, thanks, Donica. So lots of seats up here in the front. The investors don't follow the rules, and so they're not sitting in their seats, so some of their seats are open. So those of you who want seats, come on up to the first 3 or 4 rows here. So I'd like to just take a minute to recognize some of the special guests in the audience tonight. Who have I seen? I know that Kate Valentine from the county is here. Kate, thanks for being here. From the city of SLO, we have Whitney McDonald, Greg Herman, and Mackenzie Toff. Michelle Shoresman, we chatted earlier with the SLO City Council. The one and only LeBren Harris. LeBren, are you still here? Where? Oh, there she is, still in the seat. Great. Who is our new neighbor across the street on Charles Street. Can't wait to be your neighbor. And maybe just a few comments that while Cal Poly is the host and by far the biggest supporter of the SBDC and its programs, the city and the county are also very big supporters of the SBDC. And it's those contributions on top of the university that really enable us to put these programs together. The most well-known one, of course, for facing the community is AngelCon. So with that, do you want to get into the fun part of the program?
Well, before we get to the startups, just a few more things to say. So we would love for all of you to participate here tonight. Not only those of you in the audience, but those of you who are watching online. If you're watching online, tell us where you're watching from and shout out to one of the finalists, please. And also, we will not only be picking the winner tonight, which is chosen by our investor panel, but we would like to invite all of you to choose an Audience Choice Award. So voting will open for the Audience Choice after all the startups pitch, and you can also help support them in their move towards growing and scaling of their business by donating to our GoFundMe campaign to support that winner of the Audience Choice Award. We'd like to thank the law firm of Riker Fowl for supporting and sponsoring the GoFundMe campaign and making a generous donation to kick things off. Instructions on how to donate are up on your screen, as well as handed out or in the YouTube event description, and we'll also put them up again later, so don't worry, you'll have a chance. We're currently at just over $2,000, which already beats last year's raise. So let's make this a record year and please help support our startups. Now, we're excited to get started. I'd like to introduce Mitchell Dan, CEO of Faceplate Technologies.
Hello, everyone. Cool. My name is Mitchell Dan. I'm the CEO of SafePlay Technologies, where we're bringing real-time lab-grade allergen detection directly to the food production facility. So the first people who are affected by poor food safety are the consumers. For context, there's about 33 million Americans who suffer from food allergies. About half this population has severe reactions, meaning anaphylactic shock. And additionally, about 3 million Americans also have celiac disease, meaning they need to avoid gluten or face chronic health complications. My mother herself has allergies to certain types of fish, but she can be considered lucky as these fish aren't normally found in food manufacturing environments. However, the same can't be said for dozens of individuals we've spoken to who have anywhere from minor to severe allergies to extremely common food ingredients. These people instead have to fear for their lives every time they eat a meal. And instead of being able to trust labels, they rely on word of mouth through internet forums, which is not acceptable in the 21st century. On the other side of the equation, food manufacturers who produce allergen-free products also suffer greatly during a recall. The average recall cost is about $10 million, with an additional $5 million usually from fines, penalties, and facility shutdowns. And on top of this, the loss of business from reputational damage can be anywhere from 5 to 10 times as high as the direct cost, meaning that from a single recall, a food manufacturer can lose anywhere from $50 to $100 million just from the single recall, along with about 4 years of reputational damage. And the food manufacturers that we're currently speaking to, the rice flour manufacturers, can be at the higher end of this bell curve due to them having high weight and high volume products, as well as additional fines from selling certified products. Now, why do these recalls happen? Well, first of all, there's a lack of oversight and regulation, and additionally, testing at every critical control point in the entire food manufacturing process is just too time-consuming and too expensive, leading manufacturers to instead rely on risk analyses and minimal amounts of testing, essentially leaving it up to probability, which is not a good idea when at best you have a bad run and waste a lot of your product, and at worst you're endangering the lives of your consumers, as well as opening yourself up to one of these extremely expensive recalls. But SafePlate envisions a brighter future where our cost-effective and easy-to-use device can be scaled to every critical control point in the entire global food manufacturing process, essentially paving the way for a much higher standard when it comes to knowing what contaminants are in your food. And our first iteration of this is the Arceo, which is our portable and easy-to-use device that brings lab-grade testing directly to the food manufacturing facility. It doesn't require any specialist training. It streamlines current testing workflows, as well as opening up the potential for more efficient ones in the future. And it does all this testing in real time. We also don't need to go through FDA certification. Instead, we go through the Association of Official Analytic Collaboration, the AOAC, as well as the Cereal and Grains Association for a third-party validation study. So what we're doing with the Arceo is we're combining the benefits of the current methods on the market. On one hand, you have quick tests, which are relatively cheap and easy to use, but still extremely manual and give you only pass or fail results. On the other hand, you have lab-grade testing, which a company can invest millions in their own in-house lab, or they can send samples off to a third-party lab for over $100 per test per sample, which is not always viable. So with the Arceo, we're taking the ease of use and the quick test time of quick tests and combining it with the better quantitative results, as well as testing for multiple contaminants at once, like lab-grade testing, and wrapping this all up into an extremely automated package that uses daily consumables rather than per test ones like the current methods on the market. Currently, we're in the prototyping phase. We are trying to get the prototype ready for beta testing with Western Foods at the end of this year. More on them later. To eventually get a production device by the beginning of next year, set up production in Q2, and start our first sales in Q4 of 2027. We're currently testing for gluten, as this is the most tested for allergen type test. We plan on having the FDA's top 9 allergens also on the same device and cartridge for an all-in-one allergen testing solution. And after that, we plan on focusing on other dangerous contaminants such as pathogens, heavy metals, mycotoxins, and eventually get this technology in line and completely automated, so it's no longer one of the many tasks that QA employees have to conduct. In terms of a go-to-market, this starts out by testing with these beta testers, such as Western Foods, who's a $30 million revenue rice flour manufacturer in the Sacramento area. We have another company in our beta test pipeline right now, and we're trying to sign a third one. Once we complete these tests, we will submit the results into scientific journals to further gain credibility, as well as, extremely importantly, partnering with strategic partners who are already selling allergen test kits. The 2 largest we've already spoken to, who have expressed interest in potential funding, opening up customer bases, and acquisition down the line. And lastly, we'll continue to attend trade shows and demo our product, which is the best way we found to get in front of new potential customers. We operate off a mostly recurring revenue model, so the device would be $10,000 up front, and then the manufacturer would pay $150 a day for the gluten test, for a daily cartridge that will allow them to run as many tests as they want within 24 hours. And with the average number of devices per manufacturer, tests per day, and cartridges per day that we've gotten from talking to many manufacturers in the space, we're predicting we'd make about $85,000 in recurring revenue per year per manufacturer just for this gluten test. And as you can see from the graph, most of this would come from those cartridges, as well as reagents we'd sell with the device. Now, we've also estimated there are about 1,000 gluten-free manufacturers in the US. We plan on about 50% market penetration due to this being a very disruptive technology in the industry. So with that $85,000 per manufacturer, we're estimating about $45 million in recurring revenue just from the gluten test. This would go up to $245 million with the complete allergen test kit. And the ceiling is high. The global contamination testing market is about $24.4 billion. With large segments of this being things like pathogens, heavy metals, and mycotoxins, which we plan on addressing, and large markets being overseas in places like Europe, Asia, and Australia. So we've redesigned the version 2 prototype from the ground up to be easy to assemble and manufacture, and we're talking to potential co-manufacturers right now for that purpose, and we're planning on making our own cartridges in-house with automated testing equipment that we've already gotten quotes for. In terms of protecting our IP, this first starts by being the first company to market with a web-connected, lab-grade, in-house allergen testing method, allowing us to collect a data set and monitor the status of the industry. We're also working with our investor and partner IdeaShip. We just submitted our first provisional patent, and they're working on drafting our patent timeline to protect us into the future. And lastly, we want to work with health organizations who have been trying to pass allergen testing thresholds for years to create a new third-party, more stringent standard when it comes to allergens in foods. And we want to integrate the requirements for this standard directly into our patents to create exclusivity between the device and the certification. And this is the team. So I'm Mitchell, the CEO. We have Nahal, our COO, Avery, our CTO, and Mateo's head of lab. Together, we have a plethora of experience on the technical side for a difficult project such as this. And behind us, we have an all-star lineup of mentors who have experience from anywhere in entrepreneurship to food industry veterans, legal, and technical help. So we're planning on first sales at the end of next year, break even in about Q3 of 2029. And then we should see a spike in revenue in 2030 from selling our complete allergen test kit. But to get there, we need funding. So currently, we're looking for $500,000. This will get us through our commercialization testing, as well as allow us to bring on new hires, especially on the technical side for now, and get through our beta test to have a production product by the beginning of next year. So that's the team and the vision behind SafePlate Technologies. We hope you join us in building trust in every meal for everyone, everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mitchell. That was great. So next, we would like to recognize Columbia Bank. Again, they are a presenting sponsor and have been with us since the beginning. So as I mentioned, Brooks will be up here later to help us pass out awards, but we couldn't do this without them. Now we're going to hear a few words from them directly.
Growth doesn't happen by itself. It takes vision, commitment, and the right financial partner. Columbia Bank brings more resources and more reach, so you can transform your workspace, expand your business, or make room for your growing family. With Columbia Bank, every step forward comes with more behind it, so you can grow what matters.
Thank you. We're so lucky to partner with such a great support in our region. Next up, we have Arya Ghasemizadeh, CEO of Hikari Medical Technologies.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arya Ghasemizadeh, CEO and co-founder of Hikari Medical Technologies. Our mission is to make drug dosing safer, more convenient, and more precise for patients all over the world. A 50-year-old father of two was administered to the ICU with hepatorenal syndrome. This is a progressive failure of the liver and kidneys. His daily dosing regimen, 6 IV infusions a day. One night, during a shift change, a nurse administered his dosing adjustment incorrectly. His blood pressure spiked, and over the next few hours, he went into cardiac arrest. His children were called in the hospital only to be told that unfortunately their father didn't make it. Unfortunately, drug dosing errors is a $40 billion problem that affects many patients every year. In fact, 1.3 million Americans are injured yearly because of drug dosing errors. Now, I'd like you to imagine that patient, rather than receiving 6 injections a day, received 1 injection, put on a wearable device, and had automated precision control over their drug dosing regimen. That's our mission at Hikari, and that's what we've developed. We've come up with the Nagomi platform. This is a combination of a drug carrier that is light sensitive with a wearable device that uses light to trigger drug release from within your body. Let me show you a little bit more about how this works. Let's take the case of the father. The father will receive a one-time injection of our nanoparticle carrier with the drugs trapped inside. That carrier stably circulates throughout the blood. Intermittently, the wearable device will pulse light. That light passes through the skin and will trigger the release of drug directly within the blood from these carriers. Additionally, and this is where Hikari is unique, by measuring the amount of light that comes back to the device, we're able to get real-time feedback on the amount of drug we're releasing. Putting both the dosing and monitoring signals together lets us do automated, non-invasive precision drug dosing. Now, these nanoparticle carriers that we use are proven in the pharmaceutical industry. In fact, shown here are some examples demonstrating that nanoparticles have been around for over 30 years and comprise many FDA-approved drug products. In fact, the COVID vaccines were made of nanoparticles. How the Nagomi platform is different is we take FDA-approved nanoparticle components, we add a layer of light-triggered functionality, and we elicit that with a wearable device. That gives us the Nagomi platform. So who are Hikari's competitors? Well, many drug delivery technologies exist today. Some of them are shown here. The key differentiation for the Nagomi platform is that we can perform both non-invasive drug dosing and real-time drug dose monitoring. So we can do that precision automated drug dosing. Additionally, we have a strong IP moat comprised of a provisional patent as well as trade secrets. Now, since the beginning, we've been very eager to perform market validation on the technology. Shown here are some of the most impactful quotes we received and demonstrating there's a strong need from the pharmaceutical industry for this kind of solution. And for Mallinckrodt Pharmaceuticals, we received a letter of intent based on successful animal study completion, which is why we're here raising money today. Additionally, over the last 2.5 years at Hikari in our lab in UC Santa Barbara, we've performed extensive proof of concept. Shown here, we've developed an artificial blood circulatory system where we inject those carriers, and then with a wearable device, shown in B, the prototype, we get our key figure C, where we've shown that just by using light, we have precise, rapid control over drug release in a flowing blood system. With the pre-seed round that we're raising now, we'll use this to perform our pivotal animal proof of concept studies, which we'll then take to our letter of intent at Mallinckrodt Pharmaceuticals, as well as do business development and form licensing partnerships with pharmaceutical companies. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But first, I want to talk about the benefits of the Nagomi platform compared to other biotech companies. How are we different? Well, we come with intrinsically lower risk and cost, both on the clinical, regulatory, commercial, and liability side. Additionally, we have much faster time to revenue. We adopt a licensing business model rather than trying to take these drugs through clinical trials ourselves. We license technology to pharmaceutical companies and work with them, and the final clinical trials is performed by them. Because we form licensing partnerships, once we form our first deal, we start to see licensing revenue in the millions of dollars of range. Additionally, the time to market for a traditional drug takes over 10 years oftentimes. For the Nagomi platform, our pharmaceutical partner can pivot this through clinical trials and propel it as soon as in 2 years. That's because we're just reformulating drugs. We don't come up with new drug products. To summarize, the pharmaceutical company partner takes on all the manufacturing, regulatory, and commercial cost and risk. So why would pharmaceutical companies be incentivized to work with us? Why would they want the Nagomi platform? Well, shown here is the typical drug development life cycle. After a lengthy R&D period, pharmaceutical companies, they enjoy around 10 years of patent exclusivity. But once that patent expires, if they don't renew their patents by a reformulation of that drug, generics come in and they can lose billions of dollars. With the Nagomi platform, we come in, reformulate their technology, their drug with our technology, saving them potentially billions of dollars in otherwise lost revenue. So how's Akari going to enter the market and then expand? We're going to enter into a class of drugs called small molecules. These are drugs that, everyday drugs like cancer drugs, Advil, pain drugs, these work the best with our technology. Next, we'll move into biologics. This is another huge market consisting of things like antibodies. Then we'll move into drugs and R&D. So pharmaceutical companies often, after R&D, they'll shelve their products. They won't even take them to clinical trials because they're deemed to be either too toxic or too difficult to dose. We can come in and rescue those drugs. And finally, we'll move into oral drugs, which is a tremendously large market that we're working to reformulate. Okay, now zooming in on that immediate opportunity for Akari, how are we going to get our beachhead market of small molecule drugs? We've identified 80 plus drugs that fit this category and begun reaching out to business development agents at these pharmaceutical companies and already received a letter of intent from Mallinckrodt Pharmaceuticals. This is contingent upon successful animal study proof of concept, which we hope to do with this pre-seed round we're raising. Now, I also want to talk a little bit more about the IP strategy that Akari intends to employ, because IP is critical for a technology like us. This year, we intend to file, we have a provisional patent, and we intend to file a full patent application on the core Nagomi IP. This is the combination of the wearable device and the nanoparticle. But you can imagine, in the successive years, we can file a host of supporting patents that are all independently monetizable, giving us many off-ramps for revenue. An example of which could be this light-responsive nanoparticle we developed, as well as the wearable device, the need to track things in real time in your body. And as an example of this, we were approached by the University of Tokyo to use a modified version of our device to track the activation of their novel cancer drug that we're working towards doing experiments with them. Now I'd like to talk a little bit more about this licensing business model. Once we form licensing partnerships with pharmaceutical companies, we would receive licensing fees as well as milestone payments. The average for reformulation technologies like ours is around $100 million over the lifetime of a licensing deal. So it's a tremendous amount of money per partnership. Once our pharmaceutical company partner propels these drugs through clinical trials, we will also get royalties on net drug sales, as well as the potential for a sale on the wearable device per unit. So how is Akari going to enter into its first licensing partnership? Well, our strategy is we're raising a $150,000 pre-seed round. That money will go towards our pivotal proof of concept study in animals, as well as filing that key patent I discussed. Now, we'll be able to expand our preclinical studies in the following year and use that initial data to raise a seed round. That seed round and the data we get from the experiments will lead to our first licensing deal we anticipate in the next year. And that licensing deal can be used to raise a Series A and successive deals in the future. Now, looking at the revenue, because we're a licensing platform, we expect revenue as early as next year once we form our first licensing partnership at $25 million, so it's early to revenue. And once our drugs reach the market, we anticipate the first one reach the market in 2031. We will start to see royalties on the net drug sales, which will increase our revenue significantly. So both I and Willis, our co-founder, we are PhD level scientists in drug delivery from the materials department in UC Santa Barbara. We are supported by a team of talented biochemists and engineers, and we have a hand-picked team of advisors who are well poised to take this reformulation technology and form partnerships out of it. We've raised over $100,000 in non-dilutive funding. We have 2 labs, both UCLA and UCSB, and we have a letter of intent and that research collaboration I mentioned. We're raising $150,000 pre-seed round. Those funds will be used primarily to fund this animal study to then go back and follow up on our letter of intent, as well as file that key IP on our technology. That data will lead to a seed round, which will then be used to get our first licensing partnership, then translating to a Series A. So why invest in Ikari? Well, you get access to the growing biomed and medtech space without the cost, risk, and timing of a traditional biotech company. And also you have the opportunity to invest in us prior to our pivotal animal study proof of concept, which is our major value inflection point. The deal terms are shown here. We're raising a $150,000 safe round with a $5 million post-money cap and a 20% discount. For an exit, our strategy is to go for a strategic acquisition, either of Hikari or of the Nagomi platform by a partner. And through our conversations in market validation, we've reached out to the largest drug reformulation technology called Halozyme. They're publicly listed. And we established early relations with them, and they would be a perfect future acquirer of us. Thanks so much for listening, and please join me in revolutionizing medicine. Thank you.
Thank you, Arya. That was great. I'd now like to recognize another sponsor, REACH, which is our local Economic Development Action Committee, and they represent the regional Central Coast from Santa Cruz down to Santa Barbara. Now we'll hear a few words from REACH. Thank you to REACH for sponsoring AngelCon this year. Next, please welcome Mayela Fernandez, CEO of Ecoplasticity.
Hi, I would like to share a short story with you. There was once a little girl who grew up in Mexico, and every year she went to the Caribbean with her family. Turquoise waters, white sand, and moments that felt endless. But then suddenly, one year, the ocean changed. Massive amounts of seaweed began washing ashore. The beaches closed, tourism decreased, fishermen stopped doing their local jobs, and her family stopped going, of course. But she never forgot those moments. And then years later, while traveling abroad, she noticed something different. Some countries were using plant-based packaging, and something resonated with her. What if that same seaweed harming our coastal communities could be used to replace the plastic harming our planet? That question became an idea, and that idea became a company called Ecoplasticity. At Ecoplasticity, we are developing seaweed-based coatings for paper packaging solutions. And the reason why we're doing this is because what we think is made of paper, it actually isn't. Most of these paper containers have a hidden plastic lining that works as a barrier from oil and grease so you can enjoy your meal. The problem comes when we dispose of them. Because of this plastic, we cannot compose them or recycle them. And this contributes to 9 million tons of takeout containers being landfilled every year, becoming one of America's major sources of waste. And sadly, not just in the landfills. Plastic is breaking down into microplastics and ending in our bodies. Because of this, plastic packaging is a regulatory issue, where EPR regulations state that by 2032, all packaging must be compostable or recyclable. Businesses who do not comply with these regulations will have to pay up to $50,000 per day. And since 2021, 7 states have passed these EPR laws. And in this year, they are beginning the enforcement of these laws. Because of this, paper packaging manufacturers are urgently looking for a solution. And the only one they have found yet is to remove this plastic lining, sell their containers at a higher price, but as you can see in this image, they do not work. They leak through, you cannot microwave them, it creates an unpleasant experience for the consumer, doesn't serve the primary purpose of a takeout container, and restaurants do not want to provide these type of containers. So that's where we come in. We are developing Sargasil. Sargasil is our seaweed-based coating that enables manufacturers of takeout containers to meet performance requirements and comply with EPR regulations. Our coating is leak-proof, it is compostable and recyclable, it is plastic-free, marine-friendly, and it is made from sargassum. Sargassum is this invasive seaweed I was telling you about at the beginning. It is the most tangible symptom of a climate crisis happening in the Atlantic Ocean. But we found a way to use it for our coating, and as you can see in this image, the performance speaks for itself. It withstands the oil barrier compared to an uncoated container for the next 24 hours. And with that being said, we provide a key advantage over existing products. We are the only ones who are high in performance, compatible with existing manufacturing processes, who are EPR compliant, and also can be recyclable and compostable. And we do this at a competitive price. PLA, which is the most popular bioplastic but non-compliant, so you cannot recycle or compost it, PLA goes up to $6 per pound, and you require 30 grams per application. Our coating goes up to $6 per pound, and you only require 30 grams per application. This means that we are more efficient. 1 pound of our coating gives you capacity to do 280 containers. Compared to PLA, 1 pound of PLA gives you capacity to coat 180 containers. This means that you get more of our coating for less of the price. With that being said, we're approaching a $70 billion market opportunity, where our beachhead are the EPR states, and once we gain adoption, we will address the whole paper packaging industry, because every box or bag made of paper requires a coating to protect your product. And just to give you an idea of how big this market is, we all know these companies, leaders in the food and beverage industry, but who sells their packaging? These are the top leaders in paper packaging manufacturer in the United States. We are selling our container to these paper packaging manufacturers. We are partnering with Westrock for our pilots. And with that being said, we sell our coating to the paper packaging manufacturers, expecting revenues of $13 million by 2030. And we have validated our supply chain. This is how we make money. First, we partner with the seaweed suppliers. They extract the seaweed from the ocean, they purify it, make sure it's free from toxins if FDA compliant, and then they ship it to us. We create our coating with our contracting manufacturer. We sell the coating to the paper packaging manufacturers, and they use it for the takeout containers, and then sell it to the food industry. So far, we have secured over $100K in non-dilutive funding. This has helped us to develop a working product in a lab environment, and we have sent initial samples to potential customers. We also have signed 2 LOIs with restaurants and suppliers. And this is how our go-to-market timeline looks like. In 2026, we're focusing primarily on the product market fit. This means that we are transitioning from lab scale to pilot scale, optimizing our formulation for larger batch production, and getting the FDA compliance and beginning pre-sales by the end of this year. In 2027, we will file our non-provisional patent and explore a licensing model with other paper packaging manufacturers. In 2028, we will expand to other applications, create more coatings, and file more patents. And with that being said, we are raising $200K in SAFE for our product development and compliance. Most of the budget will be allocated to the product development, and the rest of it will be allocated to business and legal fees. The goal of this funding is to de-risk our formulation at a pilot stage. We are getting our pilot stage in 3 different steps. The first steps is producing the coding at a larger stage and getting the quality control tests. The second step is a pilot coding. We need to go to the facility with our paper packaging manufacturer and make sure that our coding can be manufactured and processed well. Once we have takeout containers with our coding, we will do sample deployment with food service operators and strategic events like concerts or stadiums. We are the problem solvers of this big challenge. I am Mayela Fernandez, and I was once the little girl who dreamed to use orgasm with something useful. And I have an MBA at Cal Poly, and I lead the business development. My co-founder, Michelle, she is a CTO and leads the product development. She is finishing her master's in polymers and coatings at Cal Poly. Adam, he's our lead R&D engineer, and he optimizes the formulation and sends samples to potential customers. And all of our advisors have strong expertise in the packaging industry, climate industry, and also bio-based coatings for paper packaging applications. If this resonates with you, let's redefine plastics together. Thanks for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayela. Great job. Corvus Wealth Advisors is an organization that wants to help you reach your goals and achieve peace of mind. They are an experienced team of investment, retirement plan, and financial planning professionals that will work closely with you to understand your unique objectives. They will create a customized strategy for you while providing a high level of service and communication to keep you on the right track. Please help me thank Corvus Wealth Advisors for sponsoring tonight's event. Next up, we're going to hear from Rich Zimmerman, CEO of Cantaloupe AI.
Thank you. I just actually got back from the Masters tournament. If you guys can't see my beautiful Masters jacket that they made me wear. It's a joke. Who in here worked their very first job at a restaurant? Your very first one. If you're like me and you did, then you know that the people you work with today might not be there tomorrow. Turnover is a constant thing in the restaurant space. But what you might know is that now more than ever, the cost of someone quitting early or quitting frequently is more expensive than ever for operators. A Wendy's with locations in Alabama and Florida came to us with severe turnover, 167% in a year. They came to us with managers drowning in resumes and no time to screen them. And they gave us a shot in some of their stores. And in 63 days, this is what happened. From 40 to 85% retention. We gave their managers 94 hours back from reading resumes and running the business. And we saved them $48,000 in verified savings, all in just 2 months with one simple workflow. But the reality is across this country, 200,000 restaurants are fighting and often losing the same battle every single year. Labor costs are through the roof, and with tariffs going up and inflation, businesses can't afford to make a bad hire. But they do. In fact, your average quick service restaurant will turn over its staff twice in 1 year. Managers will spend 14 hours a week reading stacks of resumes before they have a single interview with an applicant. And if they get that interview wrong and make a bad hire, it'll cost that business almost $6,000. And our favorite restaurants can't afford to live like this anymore. I know this story pretty personally. My very first job was at a beloved neighborhood coffee shop, and I became the hiring manager of that shop. I made one bad hire. I'll never forget that first one. Then I made 5, 15, and last year, that coffee shop closed. 50 years of tradition, first dates, first exams, all of those things, gone. And every single person that worked there lost their jobs. And I kept obsessively thinking there has to be a better way of getting to know who someone is before you put them behind a counter. Now, my name is Rich Zimmerman. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Cantaloupe AI. And today I'm going to tell you how we're tackling that problem. Cantaloupe has built the very first 24/7 voice recruiter, purpose-built to predict turnover and help restaurant operators hire the right people up to 5 times faster than ever before. We don't just track applicants, we listen to them and learn from them with each and every conversation and get the right people at the right role quicker than ever. When an applicant finds Cantaloupe, they apply the same way they always did. Indeed, an in-store QR code in a quick service restaurant. But when they click apply, everything changes. They instantly get to start a 3 to 5 minute dynamic voice interview. In that interview, we're getting to know them for who they are and taking that information and making an accurate prediction about how good of a fit they are for that role at that point in time. As soon as it's finished, they're instantly scored and ranked and sent directly to a busy manager's inbox in their email with really powerful data. Here's a real example. Angelica is a real-life applicant that applied for a back-of-house role at a major sandwich chain and cantaloupe customer in New York, Linwich. By the time the manager walked in this morning, she had all of this really complete information on Angelica, who had already completed her full interview. Compatibility, low turnover risk, and an entire snapshot of her entire personality profile built and scored on the Ocean framework, the same model proven to predict success and performance for high service roles. Conscientiousness, agreeableness, how Angelica handles a disgruntled customer that just got the wrong order, all of it instantly before ever meeting her. From there, and the manager can instantly extend an interview offer, schedule the next round interview, and even play back the interview all before meeting that applicant. When Cantaloupe brings on a new customer, we instantly get access to all of their historical hiring data, who they hired, why they hired them, how long they stayed, and why they might have left. That is an ability for us to calibrate their AI experience and understand what makes the best applicant for their role. In fact, that training data is what allows Cantaloupe to be the leading expert on what makes a really good line cook at a Wendy's in Mississippi, or the best barista at a coffee shop here in SLO. These type of turnover insights didn't exist when we started Cantaloupe, so we had to build them. And this is what makes us really hard to live without for our customers. We're going to market with the most location-dense, highest turnover customer in all of the world, quick service restaurants. In fact, there are 200,000 of them across this country, and every one of them have a dedicated member of their team whose sole job and sole purpose in life is to fight turnover and high labor costs. From there, we're going to go into natural verticals like logistics, retail, utilities, all customers that have similar problems. And eventually, every customer that has a high turnover problem is a Cantaloupe customer. But for now, we're focused on getting to our first 120 operators. Them, at our current average contract value, is about $3.6 million in revenue, or 4% of the service market that we're targeting. Our buyer is always the operator, the owner, the COO, whoever's responsible for labor cost at the end of every quarter. Our users, HR teams, store managers, whoever need to fill those roles. Now, between my two co-founders and I alone, we've built up a $2.9 million active sales pipeline. Famed quick service restaurant advisor Rick Ormsby endorsed Cantaloupe last summer, bringing us customers like Wendy's and getting us in front of a 133 location Sonic franchisee that's currently moving through our sales pipeline. We actively target fast food franchisee associations to get in front of these operators who are bleeding cash and speak directly to them. But we also send 300 targeted emails a week directly to these operators. And just last month, Cantaloupe brought in 221,000 impressions on LinkedIn and 5 demos booked because operators are raising their hands to get help. We think about building very differently than our competitors. Legacy screening systems like HireVue do video assessments for HR teams at enterprise level. They don't screen for frontline service workers. Paradox AI is a text chatbot designed to move applicants through a funnel, and it can't predict who's likely to quit in 90 days. That's because it's really hard to do that. And Cantaloupe has spent the past 2 years building and training our own models on data that helps us do exactly that. And that's why Cantaloupe is remarkably unique. We're becoming the only model that can tell you accurately why a quick service restaurant might quit before you ever even meet them. When a customer adds a location, Cantaloupe adds revenue. It's that simple. Take that 133 location Sonic chain. When they become a customer, they'll be worth $142,000 to us, or 10x our current monthly revenue. We know that operators love this location-based model because we got this wrong at first and learned from them over months and adopted a model that really works well for them. And we actually keep almost every penny that comes in from a customer. In fact, it'll charge us about $2,500 to go out and get one of those quick service restaurants that will average $145,000 in a contract to us. Today, Cantaloupe is surpassing over $13,000 in monthly revenue with 72% gross margins. We're backed by the largest global accelerator Techstars, and we're on track to be cash flow positive by the end of next year. By the end of 2028, we're on track to hit over $3 million in revenue. And these aren't just soft projections. We've got active paying customers, a case study with Wendy's, and a sales pipeline that's 20x our current monthly revenue. And legacy HR companies are desperate to get their hands on deep, intelligent AI systems. Our competitor Chatter got bought by a major billion-dollar player, UKG, last summer, just months after our next competitor Paradox got ate up by public company Workday. Because it's really hard to get deep AI intelligence, and every legacy HR company has the same gap on the roadmap that Cantaloupe could easily fill. My co-founders and I are all two-time founders with proven experience leading sales and operations, oftentimes with very little resources. I built my very first company from the Cal Poly lofts downtown SLO in the middle of the pandemic. That was a hell of an experience. This place shaped the way that I think about building. My technical co-founder and CTO, Josh, wrote every line of code that Cantaloupe uses, and is a full-stack AI engineer that wrote code for major companies like Bluefin Data. Our COO, Lane, has led sales and operations at every organization he's been a part of, and he actually led sales at our very first company that we built together while I was at Cal Poly. But what really is our sustainable competitive advantage is that all three of us work the very jobs that we're solving for. We know how miserable it is to screen resumes and what it takes to get a hire right, and that's why we deeply connect with our customers. Now, Cantaloupe is raising a $500,000 pre-seed round on a $4.5 million post-money safe with $50,000 committed. Where this gets us first is a deep investment into go-to-market, where we've already identified a proven B2B sales leader that has deep experience targeting and selling the exact enterprise quick service restaurant we're targeting. We're going after her pretty quickly. From there, we're going to go into franchisee channel activations, deep case studies and marketing content directly focused on those quick service restaurant operators that we know have the problem we can solve. The rest will go into product infrastructure, technical improvements, and also funding a 3-person team that's working at full speed to make Cantaloupe really big. But where this raise really gets us, the ultimate top of the mountain, is one major milestone that we are desperate on achieving, and we know we will. That is cash flow positive by the end of 2027. Now, like I told you, I built my very first company here in SLO, and I know how much of a privilege it is to build here. It's a whole lot nicer than building in San Francisco. It's a lot more fun. And my co-founders and I are deeply committed to this region. We want to win here, we want to build here, and most importantly, to the 80 million people who have been kept out of a job in the hospitality space due to a resume. We want to show them that there is more to life than what is on a piece of paper. We are all more than what's on a resume, and with your help, we're going to slow down turnover. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate that nasty joke, huh?
Great job, Rich. Anyone else having flashback to their high school food service days? I am. Now, with that said, we're going to bring up Andrew Gove, CTO of Vulcan Bioworks.
Hello and good evening. My name is Andrew. I'm with Vulcan Bioworks. I'm a Cal Poly alum and one of the co-founders of Vulcan Bioworks, where we've built an enterprise tool to help make medicine manufacturing more efficient. This is a niche problem, but in a huge, huge industry. We've been at this for a few years. We're generating revenue, and we have paying customers at the enterprise level that are using this tool to help save time. So imagine if every time you wanted to build a custom Lego kit, you had to design and spec every single brick, work with multiple vendors to get them sourced, wait weeks for delivery, and then hope it all fits together. That's how bioprocessing currently works today, and that's why we exist. We built a custom enterprise configurator that helps teams design and build what they need, mix and match the best bricks from any supplier, get these systems custom built, delivered, and ready to go much, much faster. Less time designing, more time building life-saving medicines. So to kind of take a step further with this Lego analogy, on the screen behind me, you'll see a representative example of one of these single-use bioprocessing systems. So these are used traditionally to make medicine. And so these are used by the end users like a Merck, a GSK, a Genentech to actually manufacture vaccines, biologics, or cell therapies. And typically how this works is on the manufacturing floor at, let's just say Merck, you would have an engineer who is workshopping a process and they need to make a change. And so they'll do a napkin sketch, or oftentimes on the back of a piece of cardboard. They'll send that over to their engineering team, who redraws it in a CAD program. They'll send that over to the supplier or multiple suppliers who will redraw this using their components, their part numbering, their naming convention, send it over to their finance group, wait for a quote. That quote gets sent back to the end user, and then finally they can place an order. So imagine needing to wait 6 to 8 weeks to actually place an order. It's not for delivery, it's not for Prime, it's 6 to 8 weeks to actually place an order. That's why we built the Forge. It's an agnostic configurator that reduces overall lead time by an order of magnitude. It uses a digital library and a shared marketplace and language to help teams design what they need and get delivery much, much faster. So to kind of bring it full circle here, this is kind of the typical example, and it's painful in the industry. And so using kind of the industry standard process, you have that initial sketch, and that takes about 2 weeks to get back from the engineering teams. Another 2 weeks to get that back from the supplier, a week of back and forth at least, best case scenario, doing red lines on the drawing, and then another week to get a quote, and then finally you can process your order, and then production begins. Using our tool, however long it takes you to actually design the system, everything else is automated, e-commerce checkout, and you have something going to production in tens of minutes rather than 6 to 8 weeks. So on the screen, this is just a visual representation of our tool. So on the left-hand side, you have all the categories of your Lego components. It's drag and drop, no CAD necessary, and it's just rules-based verification to design what you need. And then it transacts to a spec print, which you can send to suppliers, or you can transact online and just check out through our e-commerce platform. So who actually uses this? It's a two-sided marketplace made up of end users and integrators. So on the end user side, this is the Mercks, the Pfizers, the Genentechs of the world. They're the ones that are actually using this system to manufacture therapies or medicines. The value to our end users is it saves them a ton of time. It cuts lead time by an order of magnitude, and it helps them not be beholden to a particular supplier. And we'll touch on that more later. On the integrator side, these are the people that are actually building and selling these custom kits. And so what it saves them is overhead, CAD time, and it's a great sales and marketing tool for their teams. And so this is a big problem, but what's the big deal? Why does this matter? Well, the stakes are super high. For global pharma, it's a $1.27 trillion industry as of 2025. And for a lot of these companies, time is their most valuable resource. Looking at biological therapies in particular, so everyone is racing to get these approved as fast as possible, and that's evidenced by the priority review vouchers from the FDA. And so one sold this week for $180 million, and that's essentially just a fast pass to cut the line for your FDA approval. As soon as a molecule is patented, your clock starts, and it's a race to get this approved into treatment as fast as possible. And so even if we can bring that lead time in by a couple of months, it could potentially unlock $35 to $70 billion in revenue for these customers. And so that's the top line value for our end users. And then we're at the non-commercial single-use market, which is still the transaction market for our marketplace, is a $5.8 billion marketplace transaction value. How we make money on the digital side is we're selling licenses. So we're selling seats to the system for both the integrators and the end users. We sell services, so this is customization, digitization. This is getting somebody set up with their own instance of the system. And then on the marketplace, we do product placement, we take a transaction fee, and we actually use the market intel to offer products back to the marketplace. So we're selling goods back into the marketplace, almost like an Amazon Basics model. So to dive a little bit deeper into the software revenue side, so just for example, a medium-sized enterprise customer, so that's about $60K in seat licenses on an annual basis, and then anywhere from $45K to $125K for customization and digitization based on how their process, their unique rules, their setup. And then on the transaction side, we're just taking a 20% cut on anything from the marketplace, and on average, these assemblies retail from anywhere for on average $1,500. So to walk through an example 100K investment and the potential return on that. So we're raising money today at a $9 million post-money valuation, and we have a really strong 5-year plan where we expect to be doing $30 million in revenue at the end of the 5 years. Based on some industry comps and peers in the industry that recently got acquired, we're expecting a 7x multiple on that, which then correlates into a 20x return on that initial 100K. Here's why we're confident that we can do that. There's 3 full-time founders and 7 of us in total. So I've spent years on the integrator side as an engineer and have firsthand experience with this problem. Trace, he was at our table earlier. He's right there in the front row. He spent more than a decade at Merck on the manufacturing side and procurement side, as well as time at the integrator. And Tom, he's our serial entrepreneur. He recently sold his law firm in Afghanistan, and he's on the strategy and operations side. So our competitive advantage is that we're agnostic and will always be. So there are other configurators in the market that are really just a sales tool for one organization. And you can think about it as like a Tesla model, where you can go onto Tesla's website, you can configure a car, you can pick out the body style, the color, the wheels, and you can buy it as long as it's a Tesla. And you wouldn't really tolerate buying a car with only Goodyear parts just because you like the tires. And so this lets our end users not be beholden to a particular supplier. In terms of the moat, especially in the days of AI, where you can vibe code a DoorDash competitor in a long weekend, our value proposition is we have network effects. We're a trusted partner to both sides of the marketplace, and we have critical mass for this, for the marketplace. In terms of traction, we've been growing strong year over year. So we've had 300% year-over-year growth continuing into 2025, and we've been profitable since our inception. We've done already in Q1 of 26, already half of 25's revenue for the software business alone. In terms of key milestones, we file IP on the software as well as other components that we've out-licensed, and we have proven product market fit and are squarely going to market here. And I'll tell you about our marketing strategy. So the strategy here is we're targeting suppliers and integrators first to get critical mass of the components on the marketplace. We're working with the smaller biotech and precision medicine folks to get adoption on the platform, and we're also targeting the whales of the industry, the big pharma players. And in terms of our execution strategy, we're bringing out new products or new features, we're marketing those, we're getting customer adoption and feedback, and then running that flywheel to make the tool better and better. So we're here today raising $2 million at a $7 million pre-money valuation. We already have 1.5 committed through an strategic industry partner, and we're interested in an investor partner who can bring both capital and practical startup experience. We're going to use that money to invest in marketing for faster adoption of the Forge. We're going to bring a couple of our fractional developers on full-time, and we're going to remove any reliance on third-party software. Thank you all for the time. We're having a lot of fun doing this, and we hope to continue to do that in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. That was great. Central Coast Ventures is a local venture fund that supports startups from Santa Cruz to Santa Barbara. Many of its first fund investors were AngelCon investors as well, so we have a great network in partnership with Central Coast Ventures. We're proud to say that their portfolio for their first fund includes past AngelCon finalists Castle Lock, Little Feet Packaging, Nextera Tech, Nova Cuff, Passion Footwear, Tally4, and Trick Robotics.
The next wave of innovation isn't coming from Silicon Valley. The Central Coast is home to world-class talent and emerging industries without the noise. Central Coast Ventures has deployed $2 million across 11 regional startups, with over 90% still operating. Now, Fund 2 is open, targeting a $5 million fund, and actively seeking investors and startups. Meet the team at AngelCon tonight.
Thank you, Central Coast Ventures, for making this event possible. Now, last but not least, please help me welcome Jenna Eisman, CEO of Everest Medical Solutions.
Great. Hello, everyone. My name is Jenna Eisman, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Everest Medical Solutions. When I was 16, I experienced an injury that resulted in a temporary loss of my autonomy. And the brutality of that recovery process led me to wanting to become a biomedical engineer. So fast forward, and during my senior project at Cal Poly, I learned that from the moment they are born, millions of children across the world are at risk for a permanent loss of their autonomy because of one condition. It was then I realized I had the opportunity to enact the change that had led me to biomedical engineering in the first place. So at Everest Medical Solutions, we are ensuring safer birth by aiding physicians in the resolution of shoulder dystocia. Shoulder dystocia is an unpredictable, life-threatening emergency during vaginal childbirth where the baby's head is delivered, but its shoulders become stuck on the maternal pubic bones. This condition is responsible for the loss of life for 250,000 newborns worldwide each year. The current treatment involves 10 to 20 subjective hand maneuvers in which the least invasive ones fail 75% of the time. As a result, half of all shoulder dystocias end in a collarbone fracture for the baby, a quarter of them in traumatic nerve injury, not to mention the severe life-threatening bleeding, additional hospital stays, and potential lifelong emotional trauma a mother can experience. For these reasons, shoulder dystocia is also referred to as an obstetrician's nightmare, because a doctor can do everything right and follow the standard of care, but still end up inflicting harm. Shoulder dystocia occurs in about 3% of births, but is responsible for over 15% of obstetric malpractice lawsuits in the United States, costing hospital systems and medical providers up to $1.2 billion in legal fees alone annually. And this is why we at Everest intervene in the treatment process before the potential for this kind of horrific injury can even start. Introducing Embrace, a single-use device that extends the reach of the physician. Now, I want you to imagine that someone comes up behind you and gives you a big bear hug. What happens? Your shoulders are going to collapse inward and your arms will fall to your chest. And that is exactly how Embrace works. It gently collapses a baby's shoulders and essentially swaddles them into the correct position for a safe delivery. There are currently no devices on the market to treat shoulder dystocia, but there is a competitive technology in the space that has yet to clear clinical trials. Our clinical expert advisors, however, have reviewed Embrace next to the competition and standard of care and conclude that Embrace is designed to be minimally invasive, it can be used quickly, and it can resolve all severities of shoulder dystocia. Specifically, we've designed Embrace with the worst case scenario shoulder dystocias in mind and believe it has the ability to reduce the risk of mortality associated with this condition. Therefore, it is more competitive, and we filed a provisional patent to protect our intellectual property. And as of next week, we will be maturing that patent and officially be patent pending. But for now, there are currently no devices on the market to treat shoulder dystocia. So when Everest solves this problem, we will not only be saving millions of lives, but also be creating a multi-billion-dollar market. This condition affects about 3% of births worldwide each year. At an average selling price of $1,200 for a single-use device, we conservatively estimate a $5.2 billion total available market with a $200 million segment in just the United States. It is our vision that every hospital will maintain an inventory of Embrace, ready to intervene in the births that need it. Now, some of you might be wondering, oh my gosh, shoulder dystocia seems like such a big problem. Why hasn't it been solved yet? And I'm right there with you. But allow me to shed some light on the situation. It actually wasn't until 1993 that women were legally required to be included in FDA clinical trials. As a result, this space has been severely lacking both innovation and investment, especially when compared to other highly saturated industries like that of the cardiac medtech industry, for example. However, as you can see from the numbers behind me, the global markets are starting to take notice of this untapped potential, and now is the perfect time to invest in women, children, and Everest's mission. And we are the team to execute because my co-founder and I have listened to over 100 patient stories regarding the loss of autonomy due to shoulder dystocia. This is a problem that can be solved, and we possess the skills and the passion to do so. We've surrounded ourselves with a truly brilliant advisory team in which 2 of our advisors have already brought successful maternal health med devices to market. Specifically, the InPress Technologies team, more commonly known as the Alydia Health team, also began as a senior project from Cal Poly and went on to exit for $240 million. With their guidance, we have a strategic advantage to execute Everest's mission. And let me tell you how. Our go-to-market strategy centers on strategic relationship building with a two-pronged approach. First, we are actively engaging with key opinion leaders at teaching hospitals and high-volume obstetric centers. We have conducted over 150 conversations with clinicians, in which 87% of those surveyed have expressed interest in using Embrace. These conversations have also allowed us to garner interest from 3 hospital systems that are looking to collaborate, and all of these relationships position us to later approach value analysis committees and hospital equipment procurement teams. All of this serves as a foundation to our reimbursement strategy, which is a key element for our commercial success. Specifically, our preliminary healthcare economics analysis has revealed that the average shoulder dystocia birth costs about $4,000 more to treat than a normal uncomplicated vaginal birth. But they're getting reimbursed at the same rate, despite the costly complications a shoulder dystocia can incur. So for example, if a hospital is experiencing about 70 shoulder dystocia births in a year, this translates to an almost $300,000 cost burden the hospital just has to absorb. At Everest, however, we predict we can cut down those treatment costs and replace them with the cost of one tool, Embrace. We're targeting an average selling price of $1,200, but still allowing the shoulder dystocia births to get reimbursed at that same rate of $9,000. This means the hospitals will be able to net more of their reimbursement, and we predict that per shoulder dystocia birth, we can increase hospital profits by over 50%. And these numbers don't even begin to reflect the reduced risk of litigation that having a tool like Embrace can bring. The strength and beauty of this strategy is underscored by the existence of 3 reimbursement codes we can potentially fit into, as well as already established obstetric sales distributors we can approach to carry Embrace in their product portfolios. And this is the second part of our go-to-market strategy, as partnering with large distributors such as Cooper Surgical, Labry, Organon, J&J, or others will not only allow for streamlined adoption into hospitals through the use of existing sales channels, but also these larger players often acquire the smaller companies that they partner with, giving us an opportunity for eventual acquisition. And we have begun to build these relationships now, as we know we will need them for our future. A medical device timeline is a lengthy endeavor, however. To support this go-to-market strategy, we have created a detailed plan that outlines our development, regulatory, and business milestones that will bring us to FDA clearance by early 2030. Specifically, by the end of this year, 2026, we are aiming to engage with the FDA for our pre-submission, where we can share the safety and efficacy data that we've gathered in the lab. And speaking of the lab, the data that we've been able to gather thus far has been incredible. We have been able to demonstrate 95% efficacy of Embrace's mechanism of action in worst-case scenario simulated shoulder dystocias. From our conversations with clinicians, we've learned they start to get really nervous at about the 60-second mark, because that's when the risk of asphyxiation and loss of life can occur. But as you can see there from the graph on the right, every single prototype of Embrace tested performed well below that target mark of 60 seconds, proving that Embrace's mechanism is highly effective. We have also identified a manufacturing strategy that will allow us to manufacture in our near future at our pilot stage, where we need about 100 devices, but also as we scale. And as we scale, we've identified a plan that will help us bring down our cost of goods sold dramatically, giving us 90% gross margins, even after accounting for sterilization and packaging costs. So if your values align with our mission, I invite you to participate in our pre-seed funding round today that will get us to our FDA pre-submission by the end of this year. This involves the completion of our preclinical mechanical and tissue studies, first engagements for our pilot manufacturing, and the hiring of the right team to keep us moving forward. I truly hope that you join us, because together we can reach new heights in healthcare and save lives. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jenna. That was fantastic, as always. So these were the 6 finalists from a much larger pool of companies that applied to be in AngelCon. And I just have to say, this isn't my first time hearing their presentations, but after 6 weeks of really hard work, being evaluated by 6 teams of angel investors supported by 6 student volunteers who acted as business analysts, I think a lot was gained, and the presentations are terrific. I'm glad I'm not one of the judges. So for the investors, if you can follow Donica, you get to now go and make a decision of which of these great companies is going to get fund number 9's investment. Okay, we have a little bit of business while the judges are making their decision. So next is Next we're going to talk about a program, another SBA program that is administered by the SBDC, and that is Business of the Year. So this is a national program that aims at celebrating our local small businesses, and we're really looking for businesses that are innovative and impactful. And I think this year the team chose a really impactful business that has a lot of meaning, and I think is a really great story. So with that, we would like to recognize Jamie Pierce and the Caffeinated Cat Cafe in Grover Beach.
My name is Jamie Pierce, and this is the Caffeinated Cat Cafe. We take in adoptable cats from local rescues, and then we allow our community to come in and visit with those cats, and if they fall in love, they can adopt. We have had 33 cats adopted at this point. We've been open just over 2 months now, and 33 adoptions. The Small Business Development Center was so helpful in just helping me put together all my thoughts in my mind and actually make it a reality. The main thing was creating a business plan. I had never done that on my own, and they provided the software, the tools of how to do that, and it was so incredibly helpful. It made a huge difference in so many parts of opening this business. I just don't know how I would have done this without that resource. And when I started planning, I didn't even know it existed, but someone else directed me to the SBDC, and I found, the local one, and it changed everything for me. It made it possible. The fact that it's offered and there's no charge for it, it means so much. So I would 100% recommend it and will.
Great. So, a totally inspiring example of a business that has impact. And I'm watching you as the video is going on, and what I learned is Daphne Locati right here is a cat lover. Your face was amazing. Jamie couldn't be here with us tonight, but we will send her our congratulations and wish her good luck, because the Business of the Year selected in SLO County goes on to compete for recognition, the region, state, and national level. So we wish her the best of luck as she takes that journey. And with that, the next order of business, are we on track? Okay, the boss here. Is the Audience Choice Award. And with the Audience Choice Award, you get to decide your favorite company of the evening. Voting is open, and I'm going to invite Nikki Williams up, who is going to explain the voting process.
All right. Hello, everyone. The Audience Choice Award voting is now officially open. You'll see the instructions on the screen right up here. A quick reminder, only attendees who registered in advance and provided a unique name for each ticket will be able to vote. Here's how to cast your vote. You can scan the QR code on the screen or go to the bit.ly link shown. It's bit.ly-AC 2026 vote. Enter your unique voter ID and voter key. So hint, it'll say when you open the link, but your voter ID is your first and last name. That's first name space last name. Your voter key is your last name. Then you can click log in to vote, select your favorite startup, and then you can submit the ballot when you're ready and you're done. Your vote will be counted automatically. Voting will remain open for the next 5 minutes, right up until we announce the AngelCon 2026 winner. And if you're joining us virtually, the voting link is in the YouTube event description, and we're posting it in the chat right now. Please remember, you can only vote once. I don't have the clicker. Did you click next, Lindsay? Sorry, thank you. Okay, after you voted, make sure to check out the Audience Choice GoFundMe campaign. Your donations will go directly to the winner to support their growing business. More information is up on the screen. If you have any questions at all about this or the voting, our staff and AngelCon t-shirts are stationed throughout the room, and they're happy and ready to help you. You have the next few minutes to vote. Happy voting. All right.
Great, thanks. So is Jake Daniels, there's Jake Daniels right outside, I see him outside. So the winner of AngelCon 8, the company that won the investment in AngelCon 8, I feel like I'm qualified to not only introduce them, but describe them a little bit. Because in my 6 months at the CIE, I stand at a desk which is in earshot of this group, and I almost feel like I'm a member of the team. But I am. Thank you. I have 2 comments before Jay comes up and tells you about the team. This is what success looks like. And this team is magic. So with that, Jake.
Thank you, Peter. I think he's being too nice to me and the team, but appreciate the nice words. Hi, everyone. I'm Jake Daniels. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Greensight Technologies. We were a finalist in AngelCon last year, and we ended up winning. I am really excited to give you guys an update on what we've done over the last 12 months. So since I was standing here about a year ago, for those of you that I don't know or don't know anything about Greensight, we are building an AI software platform to help electronics recyclers and recovery facilities identify, value, and route used devices through their facilities. So right now, about 80% of used electronic devices are improperly disposed of. We help these facilities do their job better. We help them figure out what devices to route where, essentially. So we're basically identifying devices using images and then helping ensure that they are sent to the most profitable place, whether that's selling something on e-commerce, selling it in bulk to a downstream buyer, parting the devices out and putting them back into basically a different use case, and then just recycling devices. So that's what we do. Right now, there's hundreds of billions of dollars going into data centers to build out AI infrastructure. Most of that today is not being handled properly at end of life. We're trying to change that. So I guess since AngelCon, we've done a lot of things, but we started by beta testing our software. We worked with a company in Colorado to basically prove that our software does exactly what we intended it to do. We were successful in that. We then rolled into pilot studies where we were proving ROI. So we demonstrated that our technology allows these facilities to do their job about 10 times faster than what they're doing right now. And that's identification and routing through their facilities. Since then, we have been onboarding companies, paying customers, essentially. We now have 4 paying customers, which is really exciting. We spent the last couple of weeks actually in Europe working with the largest operator in France. So we're now working with companies in the EU, which is also great. All of that would not be possible, though, without AngelCon. AngelCon was an incredible platform for us. We actually got customers from some of the press that came from this, which I never expected could have happened. So it's not just about the funding, but the experience, pitching, going through due diligence. There's a lot that happens for these entrepreneurs that everyone here might not see. And they have put a lot of work into this. And so I know the hard work that goes into that. I know that will benefit everyone here as they move forward with their startups. So thank you all for being here. Yeah, good luck to everybody. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jake. So voting for audience choice is now closed. Hopefully you all got your chance to vote. You can still make donations, please do. But before we get to the fun stuff, I want to give one more big round of applause for all of our sponsors tonight. Columbia Bank, Central Coast Genters, Reach, Corvus Wealth Advisors, Cesslock, Glenn Burdett, Plan HR, Iron Bridge Wealth Council, Thrive Mind Collaborative, Archer Wilkinson, Pacific Coast Business Times, and Riker Fowl. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our vendors and advisors, Rod and Hammer Rock, our SBDC advisors that participated in Pitch Prep Bootcamp and due diligence readiness, our speakers who helped train investors, and our legal consultants that donated their time to help conduct due diligence. I would like to now bring our AngelCon student volunteers to the stage. Please join us up here. This year, as Peter mentioned, we had 7 student volunteers assist in our angel investor due diligence. So they worked very hard over the last 8 weeks digging into each of these companies, learning about their go-to-market strategy, their technology, their legal structure. Each was tasked with writing a deal memo and providing their recommendations over to the investor groups. And I know that our investors had a great time working with these Cal Poly students, and it was a great resource to add to our AngelCon program. So with that said, Peter is going to hand out some certificates, and I would like to acknowledge each of them. We have Brandon Tuck, Claire Johnson, Daniel Schubert, Dalen Enriquez, Kimberly Molina Mendez, Luke Leary, and Nahal Singh. Thank you so much. Yeah, now we're going to welcome Brooks Wise to the stage. Brooks is the Middle Market Director of Columbia Bank, and he will say a few words as our presenting sponsor.
Wow, what a great evening, huh? On behalf of Columbia Bank, we are so proud to once again be the presenting sponsor for AngelCon. We have been at this since inception and couldn't be more proud of all the participants, their presentations, and we wish them the very best. I know you judges and investors had a very tough decision. As a Cal Poly grad myself, I couldn't be more proud of our university and our students and our alumni and their achievements. Just think, we have an alumni who took the time to fly a rocket, go around the moon. And yeah, I've met Victor several times, and I'll just say he's really down to earth. It's truly a great time to be a Mustang. And we really like supporting the learn by doing aspect of Cal Poly, the CIE, the SBDC. And that's really evidenced by what you saw tonight and have seen over the past 9 years here at AngelCon. Columbia Bank is a financial service provider and a leader in our communities. We have some people here today that take a very relationship approach to what they do, and I want to thank my team for being here. If you're one of the participants tonight, reach out to us. We can be of great help. We have some insights on how to help and grow businesses, as we've helped thousands of small businesses grow and achieve their goals throughout the years. So reach out to them. I too have had to go out and do my own pitch and raise capital. That can be a little nerve-wracking, but it can also be very rewarding. So with that, I want to congratulate all our participants. And we hope that you're very successful on your journey, because we love you to the moon and back.
Thank you. All right, so Donica is going to wrap things up with a couple of the big reveals. But first, I just wanted to take a moment to thank Donica and her team who pulled all of this together. It's a really big job. So over here running the show behind the curtain is Lindsay. And you earlier met Nikki. So they are Donica's staff of 2 that get the work of 10 done. It's kind of amazing. And then there's Donica herself, who is not only the AngelCon program director, but she's been an advisor since Fund 1. She's been an investor in Funds 3 through 7, and she is the fund manager of Fund number 4. So someone who's really dedicated to the program, knows the program, and I can tell you, loves the program. So thank you for all your hard work, Donica.
Thank you, Peter. They won't let me invest anymore, otherwise I still would. With that said, we're first going to announce our Audience Choice Award winner. We have raised $2,575, which will go to the Audience Choice Award winner tonight. Again, thank you to Riker Fowl for sponsoring this campaign. So the votes have been counted, and we have a big congratulations to Ecoplasticity. Mayela, please join us. And don't worry, the GoFundMe campaign will remain open, so that it's not too late to help Mayela and her team in their funding journey to help eliminate invasive seaweed and turn it into much needed, really actual compostable packaging. All right. This year, our investors have contributed $155,000 to AngelCon Fund 9. So the investors have made the very tough choice and deliberated, and this amount will go to one startup tonight. So now, the winner of AngelCon 2026 is Cantaloupe AI. Congratulations, Rich and team. Good job, Cantaloupe.
Big golf fans, right?
Yeah. We didn't have a jacket to give you, so glad you wore your own.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Good job, Cantaloupe. Thank you all again for being here for AngelCon 2026. We definitely appreciate the time you take in your evening to support these wonderful entrepreneurs who all did such an amazing job tonight. So with that, I'll say good night, and we look forward to seeing next year, which will be AngelCon's 10th anniversary. Thank you.